We are Team 9. It's Kyle Allen, Jordan LeCompte, and Edward Quintanilla, and we are doing the recreational fishing pond. To start, for our second progress report, we're going to be going over a project overview, a flow analysis, the geographical area, potential solutions, decision matrix, a conclusion, and our next steps looking forward. For the project overview, our team has been assigned to study the feasibility of designing, constructing, and implementing a recreational fishing and shrimping pond in Texas, modeling recreational fishing ponds in Eastern Asian countries such as Taiwan. In Taiwan, the recreational fishing and shrimping industry is very lucrative, so our client is looking to enter the market in a developing area to bring a fun, family-oriented business to a future densely populated region. Our team has been working to determine how this operation could be configured to meet the local resource, marketing, and state and county regulations while operating an efficient business model. So, as we'll see in the bottom of this, this is a picture of what is referred to in Taiwan as a pay pond, where this is the same thing that we would be looking to bring to Texas and see how it would work out. Next, we will be going to Edward for a flow analysis.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, the the interesting approach about our flow analysis that we had to look at this as like sort of how we're going to run a business. And one of the things that we were just basically looking at is how the business would just make money in the first place. Other than the obvious approach of looking at what fish and other species of aquatic animals to put in the pools, and at what pool system we needed, we also needed to find a location that is affordable and for our clients who are basically new into the business world. And
Okay, so going next into the geographical area. So our team has found that the Waller, Texas area is well suited for a commercial fishing and shrimping operation. So first off, we're going to look at this map, right? Oh, went back. Sorry about that. We're going to look at the map first. So here's a screenshot of a map. That is Waller. That is 290 right there. And so we're going to be basing and searching for our rural land somewhere around the Highway 290, FM 362, also known as Bucky's. We think that's kind of the central area for Waller. It has not been completely developed yet. And so a few reasons we think that Waller is a good idea is because of the proximity to Houston proper. Waller is about an hour from Houston city limits, depends on the time of day. Public fishing opportunities in the area are slim. That goes for most of Texas in general. A lot of Texas's public fishing opportunities require a boat, and don't let the everyday person that just wants to go fish for the day have quite the opportunity. Waller is not yet fully developed. It goes both ways in saying that we're not just going out into the boondocks of where it hasn't been developed at all, but it also hasn't been completely developed, which is going to help us in finding land of size that we need and still at a reasonable price. And then there's, like I said, Waller has plenty of available rural land that hasn't been industrialized or turned into residential yet. So I researched the current real estate market through HAR in Atlanta, Texas, in the general area of Waller. And I've been looking at tracts of land similar to what we'd be looking for, probably less than 20 acres. And I found that the average price per acre is about $20,000 to $30,000 an acre, and we'd be looking for probably 10 to 15 acres. We understand as a team that this land is certainly not cheap, but we do believe in the value of the area. And with the future development projections of Waller, land is a great long-term investment. Most of the time, especially in an area like this, you're not going to lose money, and especially if you're operating a business that's making money over time, you'll be in good shape in say 10 or 20 years on the valuation of your land. Next, we're going to transition to Jordan for some potential solutions.
The first factor we looked at when coming up with potential solutions is the type of fish and marine life that would fit the operation best given the constraints by the problem. We decided on using a mix between fish that are native to Texas along with fish that are also farmed. and allowable by the regulations in the state and country. Our main species will be the largemouth bass, the Mozambique tilapia, the channel catfish, and prawns. When it comes to the stocking and maintaining these fish, we will contract a local company to do the maintaining and feeding, so we don't have to put the weight on the clients or management and risk our first option on the design of the facility will be entirely dedicated towards being fully indoor, with tanks small and large to house various species of fish and shrimp. The advantage of this is that we will save money when it comes to climate control and have better management of things such as the pH levels and waste disposal. The only drawback of that is we'll have to spend more money probably on like modifying the facility to have tanks bigger and smaller sizes. And our second option is the hybrid, which is either half for indoor and half outdoor. The indoor area will be like the full indoor pond in that it has various tanks that people can sit and enjoy fishing and activities with family and friends. The majority of the fish, though, in the inside will be smaller because they have not a lot of room to grow compared to the ones in the outside. And the problem that arises for the outside tank is the mercy of the pH, weather, and having to find permits and approval to dig close to an urban area. To conduct a profit, we will charge entrance fees, memberships, rentals of equipment, party rentals, and offer processing of the fish if they want it. And we'll also add services such as food, beverages, and alcohol. Next slide.
Our decision matrix, we found that we needed to prioritize and this is just in the drawing board, on how the business will profit in general. We concluded this as we still haven't basically planned almost everything and have everything ready, and how we're gonna set up and find the fish and how we're gonna build the pond. And all we need to do is learn how to apply the business model of the business.
Overall, these are the factors that we determined were most important when moving forward with the economic analysis and the final solution for the client. Next slide. Next steps will be our flow analysis and potential solutions that are due on March 11th, Thursday. Also, our economic analysis draft due Thursday, March 18th. Our third progress report will be Tuesday, March 30th at 9:45. And we will meet with our advisor, Dr. Lacey, to catch up with him and seek insight on going forward. And next, we will have questions.
Okay, let's allow the clients to ask questions if they'd like.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep. Yes.
I want to know more about the decision matrix you designed. Can you explain more about it? Thank you.
Edward, did you hear the
Yes, I heard the question. I'm so sorry. Well, right now, for this matrix, we just separated towards the profit, location, and facility type and fish species. And right now, I'm just from what I've seen is that we need to prioritize how to make the profit right now because of we've already done the research for finding the fish species, and we've already found the suitable location for the pond. And right now, the facility type, we believe it'll be just basically a pre-built facility that will be used for the first location.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Do you have any question?
That will be all. I think the presentation is pretty good, so I'm looking forward for the next meeting.
So you want to go? Or would you like me to?
When will the peer team?
Oh yeah, peer team. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, peer team. A couple of questions or comments.
Yeah.
I just have a comment. It's just some of the slides seem kind of like lengthy and read off of, so maybe just improve on that.
I have a comment. I really liked the location breakdown. I know land can be pretty expensive, and Waller probably doesn't have any immediate business in the area, but the breakdown of it being more of an investment I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, kind of building off that, I liked how like all of the things y'all said about using Waller as a location. But I was kind of wondering, do you think that most of the customer base would come from like attracting people either from Houston or College Station, say, or mainly people that are passing through? Like, you know, they stop at Buc-ee's for lunch and gas or whatever. Would they like stop and go here? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think pretty much from the get-go, our target market has been Houston residents, especially with the city of Houston being known as the melting pot. I mean, being so diverse. We really think, obviously, we'll get some passerbys with 290 being such a corridor, and of course, in the general area. But really, we're looking to pull people from Houston that don't have somewhere to fish. They either don't have private land or they live in downtown Houston where fishing opportunities are just not available. I would say that is really where our target market is coming from.
I have one quick question. Is there going
What's
to
up,
be
Zach?
like catch and release options, or do you pay by weight for the fish that you catch? Like, what's your money making here?
Here, I got this. Well, in general, we're applying this thing that we learned Asian rent fishing, where people they act like they're like out in the woods and they catch a fish, then we process it. We're not really looking in making money in weight. We're just going to be basically like an entertainment place.
Okay, so really relying on that membership. Okay.
Like to go? You want me to? Thank you for your team. Okay, let me kick this off. We've got about 10 or 11 minutes, so let's talk about. Okay, your presentation was 9 minutes long, a little bit short. I felt like it was especially lacking. Needed a lot more detail on the flow analysis and the potential solutions. I'm going to ask some questions about that. The overview was good. I like the way in a way, I was going to critique your overview slide because you simply, it looks like you cut and pasted some sentences there. Typically, we use bullets, but you know what? That worked okay. So it's not a big deal. I wouldn't have wanted every slide to do that, but for your overview, you kind of repeated the mission statement, and it's good. Let's go to the flow analysis. Edward, I have some questions about the flow analysis. Can you go to your flow analysis slide, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Okay. Quite frankly, I looked down to write something and the flow analysis was over. I missed it. Would you mind talking me through this again in terms of how many fish and the size of the pool and what flows through this system? Go ahead.
Well, right now I'm just trying to figure out how that we need to prepare for it, and we're just basically right now this is all in the drawing board, and I'm just trying to find some potential solutions on what we need to be prepared for.
Okay. Well, this is March 9th, and y'all had this project since October. Flow analysis is probably, I realize it's a progress report and you're telling us you haven't quite done that yet, but that doesn't really meet expectations. You really don't have a flow analysis yet. So that's something y'all are going to need to get with.
Yes, sir.
Let's go down to the potential solutions. Jordan, your potential solutions, I'm looking for 3 distinct independent potential solutions. Would you mind telling me what those are again?
We basically, instead of using the solutions, we basically like picked 3 like factors that were like determining in the potential like business model in the end. So we did the types of fish, then the design of the facility, and the way we will make a profit.
Okay, so what does your first potential solution look like? I've heard you talking about a mix of indoor and outdoor, maybe 50-50.
The first one will be fully indoor. Yes, sir.
Okay, fully indoor. All right.
Then the second one will be hybrid, like half outside and half indoor.
Okay, well, you didn't really communicate that well during the presentation. I'd recommend that you, instead of just having one slide, that you have one slide for each of those potential solutions to more clearly define what the differences are in your 3 solutions. Yeah, the picture on the right here, where did that come from? What am I looking at here?
I got that from our.
Sorry, that was from my flow analysis research.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so the potential solutions were not well developed or communicated. Tell me how you chose the types of fish here: largemouth bass, tilapia, channel cat, and prawns. What was your analysis that led you to these 4? And are you going to go with these 4 no matter what the solution, or is there going to be a mix of each, or what?
We researched and looked at the regulations that allowed farming and stocking of like what types of fish are allowed in Texas, and we found that these were the most easiest and like cost efficient to get to stock. Then we wanted to add some like I guess you would say to get more customers. We wanted to add some more of like exotic type fish. So we looked at which type of fish were like allowed in the country, even though they're not native. And the most like, I guess, easily available one would be tilapia and the prawns. So we went with that.
Okay. Here's a question. What is your goal in terms of when the fishermen come there to fish? It's recreational, okay? So are they going there to take these fish home when they leave, or are they just there to have fun? I went to a pond up in South Dakota one time with my family, and my kids were little, and they could throw in a piece of corn on a line, and that pond was stocked with perch. And I mean, every time they threw in a line, they got a hit, and in the span of about 20 minutes, they caught about a dozen perch, and it was fun. Now we threw them back, but that was fun. We had a great time. I'm talking about it here today, 15 years later. So think about what you're trying to accomplish. These are some game fish you're talking about, but there's also some recreational aspects to this that you may want to consider. Anyway, I'll turn it over to Dr. Castello.
Okay, I have exactly the same comments as Professor McGee, and I believe the reason you're getting so many questions is because the information you provided today was very vague. That's why you have questions from your client. Can you explain the decision metrics? I have exactly the same question. It does not say anything about your potential solutions and which ones you are recommending. The only good explanation today was why you chose that area. That was very good, Kyle. It was very clear why you chose that area as a potential location. Everything else, again, is very vague. We cannot figure it out from your presentation. And just to remind you, your draft is due on Thursday. So I suggest that you really work on getting everything set and provide clear reasoning for your solutions, and the decision matrix really needs some work. This is due on Thursday, so I think you are tight on time and you need to put it together as a team to make a better job telling us, right, what are the potential solutions and what are you recommended to your client. That was not clear from your presentation today. Okay, thank you.
I do have a two. Go ahead, John. We have a few minutes. So I'm gonna ask some questions and give some comment as a client. So for the location, I think it's like you give us a good indication about the location, how we gonna tackle clients. So I don't want you to like spend more time on finding a new location or discuss about pricing because we are not hiring realtor. But the information is really good. But I think our major concern is what type of species we should implement it into our cloud in order to pass the Texas law, and like we'll take care about the profit model, a business model, because it's been proven to be profitable in Asia, and of course, we cannot rent the gears and we will charge the entry fees, membership, that kind of thing. But tell us like how much should we charge our our customers will be more reasonable here because the dollars and Taiwanese dollars are different. We don't have a scale or like what's the average cost to have this kind of recreational activities in the United States. So give us some analysis on more economic sides, and of course, local regulations, state laws, and type of fishes or shrimp we can put into our accounts.